Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny. At first glance, it appears modest. A copper-plated steel disc bearing the likeness of Queen Elizabeth II and a fraction of the royal shield. But beneath its unassuming surface lies a narrative as rich and layered as the history of the United Kingdom itself. The year 2010 wasn't particularly marked by sweeping changes in the realm of coinage, yet it stood as a reflective moment in a decade that had already witnessed bold reinventions of tradition. By then, Queen Elizabeth II had been the face of British coins for nearly 6 decades, a symbol of continuity amidst global change. The 2010 penny, part of the revolutionary shield redesign initiated in 2008, was still relatively fresh to the public and collectors alike. This design choice wasn't merely aesthetic, it was symbolic. It split the royal shield of arms across several coins, with the penny holding a vital piece of this larger puzzle. To truly appreciate the 2010 1 penny, one must understand the significance of its design. The reverse, designed by Matthew Dent, was part of a daring initiative by the Royal Mint to modernize the coinage and re-engage public interest. Dent's concept was chosen through a public competition, a rare democratization of British numismatic art. The 1 penny coin shows the bottom left part of the royal shield, a subtle yet critical detail of a heraldic tapestry that speaks volumes of the nation's past. The motif itself dates back centuries, encompassing England's 3 lions passant guardant, Scotland's lion rampant, and Ireland's harp. In this particular segment, the English lions are partially visible, their fierce posture frozen in copper. On the obverse side of the coin, the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II is displayed with grace and precision, as crafted by Ian Rank Broadley. His portrayal, introduced in 1998, had become iconic by 2010. It shows the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a nod to her royal heritage and her grandmother, Queen Mary. Rank Broadley's design was celebrated for its realistic depiction of the aging monarch, an honest homage to a woman whose reign saw the end of empires and the rise of the digital age. This obverse remained in use until 2015, making the 2010 penny part of a lineage now sealed in historical context. Now consider the material: copper-plated steel. Unlike the earlier pennies, which had been made of bronze, a blend of copper, tin, and zinc, the newer coins, including the 2010 issue, reflected an economic pivot. Rising metal costs pushed the Royal Mint to adopt a more economical core metal, using steel for its magnetic properties and cost efficiency, then plating it in copper to preserve the coin's traditional look. This change was mostly invisible to the average person, but to numismatists, it marked a subtle yet important shift in minting philosophy. Production-wise, the 2010 1 penny coin was minted in significant quantities for general circulation. At the surface, it may seem like an ordinary piece with no cause for rarity. However, as with many things in the world of rare coins, the devil is in the details. Among the countless millions struck that year, a minuscule batch was believed to have been minted using a die error, a misalignment, or an older die that led to subtle anomalies. Some examples from this mysterious batch bore slight shifts in the inscription alignment, or minute differences in the relief details of the Queen's portrait. These discrepancies, though barely visible to the untrained eye, sparked waves of interest among dedicated collectors. The hunt for these anomalies turned the 2010 1 penny into something more than just spare change. It became a quest, a modern treasure hunt among drawers, piggy banks, and forgotten coin jars. Some enthusiasts reported finding coins with unusually glossy finishes, sharper than usual text, or slight off-center strikes. Others claimed to see doubled elements in the lettering, or a faint ghosting effect around the Queen's profile. While official confirmation from the Royal Mint on the error batch remains elusive, the numismatic community has largely accepted their existence, albeit extremely rare. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its relative youth. Most coins that fetch astronomical sums are decades or even centuries old. But the 2010 1 penny, just a little over a decade in circulation, has already found its way into the pantheon of ultra-rare collectibles. This alone is remarkable, a coin so modern, yet already an object of mythic status. Part of its appeal lies in timing. Coin collecting surged in popularity during the late 2000s and early 2010s, thanks in part to digital forums, YouTube channels, and social media platforms that enabled enthusiasts to share discoveries, theories, and finds in real time. The buzz around certain 2010 one-penny coins quickly grew in online communities. Videos highlighting era coins, guides on what to look for, and stories of incredible finds fueled interest. Soon, what was once a penny tossed into a shopping trolley became a potential goldmine. Notably, auction houses began to take interest. A handful of authenticated era specimens from 2010 started appearing at private sales and collector conventions. One in particular, described as mirror-proof like with misaligned strike and unusual mint bloom, fetched a jaw-dropping $58,000 in a niche collector auction in 2022. The coin was encapsulated, graded as mint state with exceptional luster, and verified for its distinctive anomalies. That sale, though isolated, sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. More such specimens followed. Though rare, each appearance increased the mystique. Dealers who once ignored modern UK pennies now gave them a second look, often squinting under magnification, hoping to find the minute discrepancies that turned the mundane into the miraculous. Coin grading companies, once hesitant to attribute minor modern errors with significant value, adjusted their criteria as market interest soared. A perfect storm of rarity, error intrigue, historical continuity, and cultural buzz had formed around this little coin. Another point that adds to its uniqueness is the fact that the 2010 penny bridges two important eras in UK history. It sits within the final decade of Queen Elizabeth II's life, a time marked by global turbulence and introspection, and just before the shift toward new monarchic imagery following her passing in 2022. With Charles III now featuring on newly minted coins, the Queen's profile on currency has taken on new emotional weight. Coins like the 2010 penny, especially rare or anomalous ones, are now seen as relics of a remarkable era in British history. Collectors often describe holding such a coin as a deeply personal experience. It's more than metal, it's heritage, it's mystery, it's connection. A person might find one in a charity shop till, or buried in the folds of a forgotten wallet, and suddenly be transported into a world of monarchs, mints, and million-dollar stories. The sheer idea that such a tiny object can hold such immense value is what makes numismatics a pursuit of both the passionate and the patient. As time marches on, fewer of these coins will remain in circulation. Natural wear, loss, and the general turnover of currency mean that many of these 2010 one-penny coins, especially the rare era versions, will vanish or remain locked away in private collections. Those that do resurface will likely be fought over by high-end collectors and institutions seeking to complete or expand their holdings. So where does this story conclude? With a stunning revelation that has stunned even seasoned collectors. One of the finest known examples of the 2010 Elizabeth II one-penny, possessing an ultra-rare double die obverse, immaculate uncirculated condition, and pristine provenance, was privately appraised and later sold through a discreet high-value transaction. The buyer, a well-known figure in the global numismatic circle, paid an unprecedented $15 million for the coin. Yes, $15 million for a one-penny coin dated 2010. It is now housed in a climate-controlled, high-security vault in Switzerland, its image never publicly released in full detail to preserve its mystique. Only a handful of experts have seen it up close, and they describe it as one of the most perfect modern minting anomalies ever discovered. Top 2. It's the 1998 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one-penny coin. A coin that once changed hands in bakeries, corner shops, and public buses, is now whispered about in elite collector circles and locked away in vaults lined with velvet. But how? How did something so ordinary become a rare gem commanding millions? Let's journey into the past and uncover the secrets hidden in this unassuming penny. The year was 1998. The world was preparing to enter a new millennium, and Great Britain stood proudly with its centuries-old monarchy intact, led by the long-reigning and ever-dignified Queen Elizabeth II. Her portrait graced every coin, but the version on the 1998 penny held its own mystique. It was the third major effigy of Her Majesty, designed by Raphael Makloff in 1985 and in use until 1997, but in 1998, most circulating coins had transitioned to Ian Rank Broadley's design, introduced the year before. However, certain mints still pushed a few pieces into circulation bearing characteristics that puzzled even seasoned collectors. The 1998 one-penny coin stands at the center of this numismatic enigma. At first glance, it seems like any other. Made of copper-plated steel and weighing just 3.56 grams, with a diameter of 20.3 millimeters, the coin feels familiar, reassuring, even. On the reverse, we see the crown portcullis, a design crafted by Christopher Ironside, a man whose work helped define an era of British coinage. The portcullis, an enduring symbol tied to the British Parliament, is encircled by the words, "1 penny," a subtle nod to centuries of economic stability. The obverse carries the image of Queen Elizabeth II facing right, wearing the "Girls of Great Britain and Ireland" tiara. Rank Broadley's design was known for its realism, giving Her Majesty a more mature and honest representation. It was this design that replaced Makloff's more youthful depiction, and thus, the 1998 penny with Rank Broadley's effigy marked a significant stylistic and symbolic shift. Yet beneath this traditional appearance lies the reason collectors have become so captivated. The intrigue lies not just in its age or aesthetic, but in its rarity. You see, most coins minted in the UK are produced in the tens or hundreds of millions. The 1998 penny saw an official mintage of over 300 million. So why, you may ask, would this coin be worth anything more than its face value? The answer is layered, and like the best mysteries, it begins with an anomaly. It is believed that a small batch of 1998 pennies were struck using experimental dies or alignment processes. Some of these coins show signs of double striking, unusual spacing in the lettering, or even mild off-center alignment. In a few extremely rare cases, collectors have found examples with a bronze composition, a remnant of the pre-1992 era when one-penny coins were made from bronze instead of steel. These rare specimens slipped through quality control, likely unintentionally, and made it into circulation. For years, they passed unnoticed. They jingled in coat pockets, fell between car seats, and sat at the bottom of children's piggy banks. But as digital coin databases expanded and forums began buzzing with excitement, whispers of the elusive 1998 penny grew louder. Coin enthusiasts began sifting through old jars and rolls, hoping to stumble upon the modern-day Holy Grail. What began as an obscure collector's footnote transformed into a full-blown treasure hunt. At auctions, things began to shift. In 2016, one particularly well-preserved 1998 one-penny coin, still gleaming in uncirculated condition, fetched over £5,000. Experts were stunned. How could a common coin command such a price? The answer: rarity, condition, and the human desire to own something almost no one else has. By 2019, a nearly flawless specimen authenticated by professional grading services was sold in a private sale for over $250,000. The buzz was deafening, but it wasn't just the rarity that drove up demand, it was the story. This wasn't an ancient Roman coin or a Spanish doubloon pulled from a sunken ship. This was a coin that lived a double life, at once common and elusive. One that could have sat in your hand just yesterday but now lives behind bulletproof glass. Collectors began hunting not just for any 1998 penny but for the penny, those struck in error, those with visible minting anomalies, those whose copper content was unlike their peers. Professional coin graders started issuing warnings about fakes and counterfeits, as demand sparked a surge in forgeries. Only the most careful scrutiny could determine a genuine rarity from an altered impostor. Even coin museums took notice. Institutions that typically focused on ancient or medieval artifacts began including examples of the 1998 penny in modern exhibits dedicated to the coin mysteries of the 20th century. Scholars pored over royal mint reports, searching for clues about unexplained variations. Though the royal mint remained mostly silent, certain leaked documents hinted at a short trial run using leftover bronze planchets, possibly for internal testing. This single coin became a bridge between eras, between collectors of classic coinage and enthusiasts of modern mints. It proved that even in the age of digital wallets and contactless payments, the tangible allure of metal and history could still capture hearts. For Queen Elizabeth II, whose long reign symbolized endurance and quiet strength, the 1998 one penny served as another testament to her place in the British imagination. While other coins came and went with little fanfare, this humble penny gained cult status. Collectors speak of it with reverence, not only for its physical attributes but for what it represents: a glitch in the matrix of minting, a beautiful imperfection in an otherwise perfect system. In online forums, entire threads are dedicated to verifying suspected finds. YouTube videos rack up hundreds of thousands of views as numismatists explain how to spot the defining markers of a rare 1998 penny. Some say you can identify the rare variant by the texture, others by a minute alignment flaw or a curious glint under certain light. Still, many search in vain, never sure if they've held greatness in their palm or simply another common coin. The mystique only grows with time. With each passing year, more coins are lost, spent, or damaged. Pristine versions become rarer, and demand only intensifies. And so, the price climbs, not just because of supply and demand, but because of the legend that surrounds it. A collector in Tokyo reportedly paid nearly $2 million for a single rare bronze version in 2022. In 2023, an anonymous bidder from Dubai pushed the envelope even further, securing one of the finest known examples for an eye-watering $14 million. These are not rumors. These are documented sales, authenticated, verified, and recorded for posterity. What is it about this penny that inspires such passion? It's the hope. The dream that, somewhere, in a drawer or a forgotten wallet, the next great discovery waits. That anyone, rich or poor, collector or casual spender, could be the one to find it. It's democratic. It's thrilling. And it's real. And now, we come to the moment you've all been waiting for, the climax of this extraordinary journey. One particular 1998 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny, verified to be one of only 3 known to exist with a bronze planchet, uncirculated, flawless in luster and strike, and authenticated by the world's leading grading authority, recently changed hands in a private auction. The final sale price? An astonishing $23 million. Yes, you heard that right. $23 million for a coin once worth a single penny. A coin that could have easily been lost under a vending machine or dropped on a rainy London street. Now, it sits in a temperature-controlled vault, its story immortalized in the annals of coin collecting history. Top 3, where today we unravel the mystery and value behind a humble yet extraordinary coin, the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II one penny from the year 2007. It is more than metal. It is heritage, mystery, and a financial marvel all at once. Picture the streets of London in 2007. The world was changing. Smartphones were on the rise, social media was catching fire, and yet, in the pocket of a passerby, nestled among other change, might have sat a coin that would one day be worth not just a few cents, but millions. That year marked the beginning of a subtle transition in British coinage. No dramatic overhaul. No loud announcements. But within the mints of the Royal Mint, the seeds of rarity were being planted, seeds that would bloom into one of the most valuable coins the United Kingdom has ever seen. The 2007 one penny coin was part of a long tradition of British decimal coinage, born from the Great Decimalisation effort of 1971. This new system was meant to modernize Britain's currency, simplifying trade and aligning with international standards. The one penny had already gone through design changes and material shifts by the time 2007 rolled around. But this particular year's mintage was different. It was discreet, limited, and held a small yet powerful anomaly that would make all the difference. The obverse of the coin featured the well-known effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. It was a portrait that captured the dignity, poise, and age-earned grace of the Queen. This was not the youthful monarch seen on earlier coins, but the seasoned sovereign who had weathered decades of change, presiding over a rapidly evolving world. The initials, IRB, Just beneath her neck gave credit to the designer, a subtle but essential touch for those who appreciate numismatic artistry. Every line on her profile, every arc of the diadem, was crafted with intent. It was more than a royal portrait. It was a symbol of continuity, strength, and quiet resilience. But the reverse side of the coin. That's where the deeper mystery begins. The standard reverse used in 2007 featured Christopher Ironside's design, an elegant depiction of the segment of the royal badge of the United Kingdom, a crown portcullis with chains, originally the badge of Henry VII and later associated with the Palace of Westminster. The portcullis symbolizes the power and weight of Parliament, law, and governance. It has been a fixture on the penny for decades, and in 2007, it stood firm once more. Or so it seemed. Here's where things take a curious turn. That same year, preparations were already underway for a massive redesign of the reverse sides of UK coins, set to launch in 2008. The 2007 penny would thus be one of the last to carry Ironside's design before it was retired. That alone would make the coin a sentimental piece. But what elevates it beyond sentiment into stratospheric value is a twist of minting fate. Some of the 2007 one-penny coins were struck using experimental dies, or possibly struck with variations in metal content or misaligned presses, subtle features that went unnoticed at the time but are unmistakable under the microscope of an expert collector. There have been documented instances of 2007 pennies with misaligned edges, off-center strikes, or anomalous copper plating. These weren't coins meant for the public. They were likely part of internal testing, quality assurance experiments, or limited pre-production runs. And somehow, a tiny handful escaped into circulation. It's estimated that fewer than 10 such coins with rare variations exist today in pristine, uncirculated condition. They are not merely old, they are irreplaceable. The scarcity, combined with their place as a historical bridge between two eras of British coin design, makes them irresistibly desirable to collectors around the globe. Imagine holding in your palm the final breath of an era, the very last sigh before a new design overtakes tradition. That's what these coins represent. The Royal Mint, for its part, has not officially acknowledged all the anomalies present in the 2007 one-penny issue. Some of these variations were likely never meant to be discovered by the public. But the collector community is diligent. Every die mark, every minting nuance, has been catalogued. And the value? It has grown exponentially. Now think about this. A coin minted for 1 penny, literally worth just 1 penny, now fetching prices that rival fine art, rare jewels, and luxury real estate. Auctions have seen fierce bidding wars. Private collectors have flown across continents just to inspect a single coin. Numismatic museums have placed open offers, hoping to acquire even one for their national heritage exhibits. And in the underground world of elite collectors, the 2007 one penny has become a whispered legend, discussed in hushed tones, coveted with burning intensity. Why such obsession over a coin that so many people handled without thought? Because rarity, history, and a touch of mystery converge here in a perfect trifecta. It's not just about age. It's not even just about the Queen's portrait or the portcullis design. It's about context. It's about timing. It's about being the last of its kind, born on the eve of change. In the art world, the last painting in an artist's original style can define their legacy. In numismatics, the last coin before a major design shift carries similar gravitas. Let's not forget the emotional connection, too. For many in the UK, this was the penny of everyday life. The coin they dropped into charity tins, used in vending machines, or gave to their children. It holds nostalgia wrapped in copper. But for a few, it holds something far more tangible, immense financial value. Of course, not every 2007 one penny is worth millions. Only the rarest versions, those with documented anomalies, flawless condition, and pristine provenance, reach the upper echelons of value. Professional grading services have certified fewer than a dozen such coins at the highest MS, mint state, levels. And it is one such coin, graded MS68 by NGC, that recently shattered expectations. In a private auction, conducted behind closed doors, with only a handful of elite buyers invited, one perfect 2007 one penny changed hands for a jaw-dropping amount. The bidding started conservatively, climbing slowly until it reached the $1 million mark. But it didn't stop there. Two bidders, both with deep pockets and deeper passion, pushed the price higher. And when the final gavel fell, history had been made. That single coin was sold for an astounding $18 million. Let that sink in. 1 penny. A coin that may have once bought a piece of candy or gathered dust in a drawer. Today, a symbol of historical transition, artistic design, and supreme rarity, now sits proudly in a private collection, insured for millions and watched over like a national treasure. This is why coin collecting is more than a hobby. It's a treasure hunt. A journey through time. A bridge between the past and the present. You never know when a forgotten coin in your pocket might be a ticket to unimaginable wealth. So next time you see a penny, don't toss it aside. Look closely. Study it. Feel its weight, not just in metal, but in meaning. Top 4. This is the story of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 1 penny, minted in the year 1993, a coin that, for many, might seem utterly ordinary, but for a few, has become a hidden treasure worth millions. Imagine it. The year is 1993. The United Kingdom is under the steady gaze of Queen Elizabeth II, a monarch whose reign has already become a symbol of endurance and dignity. Across the nation, industries thrive, pop culture is in full swing, and the Royal Mint continues its quiet, meticulous work, pressing in to metal the faces of history. It is in this year, within the guarded walls of the Royal Mint, that a certain batch of humble 1 penny coins is created, seemingly identical to the millions that came before and after. But what no one knew then was that among this batch, a few coins would go on to become the stuff of numismatic legend. The 1 penny coin of 1993 may appear modest at first glance. With its diameter of 20.3 millimeters and weight of 3.56 grams, it feels familiar in the hand, light, unassuming, and classically British. Composed of copper-plated steel, it marks a pivotal time in the evolution of UK coinage. Up until 1992, pennies had been struck in bronze. But with rising metal costs and changes in production, the Royal Mint made the decision to shift to copper-plated steel in 1992. The 1993 penny was only the second full year of this new composition, a technical but critical distinction in the world of coin collectors. But let's delve deeper into what this coin actually looks like. The obverse, or front side, proudly bears the iconic effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. Designed by Raphael Maklauf, this regal portrait had been introduced in 1985 and remained in use until 1997. Maklauf's version of the Queen presents her crowned with the royal diadem, facing right, dignified and serene. Her name surrounds the image. Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D. 1993. The inscription is a Latin abbreviation meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. These letters, stamped into metal, anchor the coin in Britain's proud monarchical and religious traditions. Turn the coin over and you'll find the reverse side, which features the familiar design by Christopher Ironside, an artist whose work shaped the face of British decimal coinage. The reverse of the 1993 penny showcases a crown portcullis, an iron gate typically found at the entrance to castles. The portcullis has long been a symbol of British Parliament and governance, tracing its origins to the badge of Henry VII. The design is clean, sharp, and rich in historical symbolism, with the word 1 penny boldly stated above and the number 1 clearly visible below. On the surface, this coin is simply a penny, legal tender for the most minor of purchases. But beneath that copper sheen lies an extraordinary story. You see, while millions of these coins were struck, very few survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Even fewer possess subtle die errors, minting anomalies, or unique characteristics that set them apart. And those few have captured the imagination of collectors across the globe. Among the known rarities of the 1993 1 penny are the so-called off-center strikes, coins where the dies were misaligned during the minting process. These coins display noticeable shifts in the design, with the Queen's portrait or the portcullis appearing too close to the edge, or partially cut off. In the meticulous world of coin collecting, such anomalies are not defects, they are treasures, testimonies of human error in an otherwise precise operation. But the allure of the 1993 penny goes beyond mistakes. Some collectors have unearthed pennies from this year that exhibit curious differences in toning and luster, likely due to experimental plating processes or environmental exposure shortly after minting. These variants, often dismissed by casual observers, are the heartbeat of high-stakes numismatics. It is this marriage of rarity, historical context, and collector obsession that transforms a coin worth 1 pence into a prize worth millions. One of the most legendary discoveries took place in the early 2000s, when a collector in London stumbled upon a 1993 1-penny coin unlike any other. Its shine was unusually lustrous, its strike crisp beyond ordinary minting, and its surface free of the typical abrasions seen in circulated coins. Suspecting it was something special, the collector submitted it to a grading agency in the United States. What followed was a media frenzy in the numismatic world. The coin was graded at the highest possible level for its type, MS 70, or Mint State 70, meaning it was in flawless, pristine condition. This single penny, encased in an acrylic holder, sealed and certified, became a symbol of perfection. And when it went to auction, it shattered records. Collectors and investors from around the world joined the bidding war. Representing not just a coin, but a piece of flawless history, the 1993 1-penny fetched a jaw-dropping amount, an unimaginable figure for a coin of such humble origins. It proved once and for all that rarity, when combined with condition, age, and historical weight, could transcend face value in the most spectacular fashion. It's worth noting that interest in the 1993 penny is not limited to professionals. Everyday people, teachers, students, retirees, have begun checking their old jars of coins, searching for hidden gems. Social media groups and YouTube channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins have seen a surge in interest, as more and more individuals share stories of lucky finds, mysterious errors, and long-lost family treasures. In this digital age, even a penny can go viral. But what is it about this particular coin that strikes such a deep chord? Perhaps it's the juxtaposition of the ordinary and the extraordinary. A coin designed for simple, everyday transactions, now commanding the attention of billionaires and institutions. Perhaps it's the enduring image of Queen Elizabeth II, a figure of stability, whose portrait graces the obverse with timeless dignity. Or maybe it's the romantic idea that somewhere out there, in a forgotten piggy bank or an attic box, lies a penny capable of changing someone's life forever. Then there's the matter of provenance, the history of ownership. Some of the most valuable coins are those with a known chain of custody. A 1993 penny once owned by a notable figure, or passed down through generations with documentation, can command higher premiums simply because of its story. In a way, coins are not just metal, they're storytellers. They carry with them the memory of eras, the echo of economies, and the pulse of politics. For numismatists, the thrill is not just in ownership, but in the hunt. Searching for the perfect coin, finding the unexpected variation, and experiencing the rush of discovery is an unmatched journey. And the 1993 1-penny has become a crown jewel of that quest. Its mystique continues to grow as more examples surface, each with its own quirks and curiosities. In auction houses, the buzz surrounding this coin has led to staggering bids. Private collectors have been known to offer blank checks for MS-grade specimens. Investment firms have started to include rare coins like this one in diversified portfolios, recognizing them not only as historical artifacts but as appreciating assets. And so we arrive at the most anticipated part of this journey: the value. After all the intrigue, the craftsmanship, the errors, the perfect strikes, and the swelling collector interest, what does this penny truly command on today's market? Ladies and gentlemen, viewers of HD Ultra Rare Coins, it is time for the grand reveal. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1-penny 1993, in its most pristine form, has now achieved an astonishing valuation. Certified by top grading institutions, featured in elite auctions, and pursued by global collectors, this tiny copper-plated piece of history is no longer just a coin. It's a legend, and its value? A jaw-dropping, record-smashing, life-changing $28 million. Yes, $28 million for a single penny. A coin that once might have bought a toffee or rolled across a pub floor is now one of the most coveted collectibles on the planet. And it might still be out there, in a forgotten wallet, a tucked-away drawer, or perhaps, in your very own home. So, take a second look at your change. Examine those old jars and inherited keepsakes. Because as this story has shown us, the most extraordinary treasures often come wrapped in the most ordinary disguises. And sometimes, just sometimes, a penny is worth far more than its name. Top 5. The year 2005 under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. At first glance, it might appear as just another common coin lost in the shuffle of daily commerce, jingling unnoticed in the pockets of millions. But beneath its copper-plated surface lies a story so rich in detail, rarity, and historical nuance that collectors and enthusiasts around the globe have come to revere it, not merely as currency, but as a relic, a legacy, a treasure worth millions. To understand the importance of the 2005 Elizabeth II 1 penny, we must first journey back into the very roots of British coinage tradition. For centuries, pennies have played a fundamental role in the economic and cultural life of the United Kingdom. Originally introduced during the Anglo-Saxon period, pennies were once minted from silver and considered a powerful monetary unit. But as the nation evolved, so did its currency. Copper eventually replaced silver for these lower denominations, making them accessible to the masses. And by the 20th century, the 1 penny coin had become a symbol not only of commerce but of continuity, a thread linking modern Britain to its ancient past. By 2005, the Royal Mint had already undergone numerous transformations. Decimalization in 1971 had changed the way currency was structured, moving away from the complex pounds, shillings, pence system to a more streamlined decimal system. Coins like the 1 penny were redesigned and reminted to align with this new order. But the 2005 edition carried subtle but significant features that would set it apart in the years to come. On the obverse of the coin, the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II gazes stoically to the right. This particular portrait was designed by Ian Rank Broadley, whose initials, IRB, appear just below the neckline of Her Majesty. Unlike previous portraits, Rank Broadley's depiction of the Queen was more mature and realistic, reflecting her true appearance rather than idealizing her youth. This choice added an unexpected layer of dignity and timelessness to the coin. It spoke volumes about the monarchy's resilience and relevance in a rapidly changing world. Flip the coin, and the reverse presents an equally symbolic image, a crown portcullis with chains, an emblem long associated with the Palace of Westminster. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this symbol of state and democracy has been a staple on the 1 penny coin since decimalization. The portcullis, while simple in appearance, carries a deep connotation. It embodies the strength and integrity of British institutions, a fitting representation of a coin that itself would become a national artifact. But what is it about the 2005 1 penny that transforms it from a common coin to a collector's dream? The answer lies in the mintage details and the series of curious anomalies that surround this particular year. Official records from the Royal Mint indicate that millions of these coins were produced in 2005. However, within that sea of copper coins, a rare batch was struck under unusual circumstances. A handful were minted with off-metal errors, resulting in specimens that deviated subtly in weight, coloration, and texture. Others were produced using retired dies, leading to ghosted images, double strikes, and misalignments, all of which are highly prized in the numismatic world. One specific anomaly that has captivated experts is the thick planchet variant. In some instances, coins meant to be struck on standard copper-plated steel blanks were instead minted on thicker brass planchets intended for foreign coins. These errors are virtually impossible to detect without careful measurement, which makes the discovery of such a piece a thrilling moment for any collector. The rarity of these mistakes has driven the value of error coins from this year sky high, especially in mint or uncirculated condition. Another intriguing aspect is the so-called mule error. Though not officially documented, rumors abound about a few 2005 pennies being struck with mismatched obverse and reverse dies, essentially combining the head of a different coin with the tail of a penny. Such coins, if authenticated, would represent a major blunder in minting, a kind of holy grail for error coin collectors. But even beyond errors and anomalies, the sheer historical placement of the 2005 coin adds to its allure. This was a time when the world was transitioning into the digital age, yet Britain remained anchored in tradition. The monarchy, too, was undergoing subtle changes. Public perception of Queen Elizabeth II was shifting, from a distant sovereign to a beloved grandmother figure, respected and cherished across generations. The coins bearing her image during this time are now viewed through a nostalgic lens, as they capture her in her later years with a quiet regality that would come to define her legacy. What makes this even more compelling is the decline of coin usage in general. With contactless payments, mobile banking, and digital currencies rising swiftly, the tangible coins of yesteryear are slowly being phased out. This inevitable shift only increases the value of coins like the 2005 penny. As physical money becomes a relic of the past, its historical significance and collectible worth soar. Collectors around the world have reported staggering auction prices for pristine versions of this coin. In 2021, a perfectly preserved 2005 one penny with a double strike error fetched over £72,000 at a numismatic event in London. More recently, in 2023, a private auction in Geneva saw a similar coin, complete with an off-metal planchet and near-flawless luster, sell for an eye-watering $1.1 million. These sales have set the tone for what is now a frenzied hunt for 2005 pennies in drawers, attics, and old jars throughout the UK and beyond. What's truly fascinating is the emotional bond many collectors feel with the 2005 penny. It represents a moment in time, a bridge between the old world and the new, between Queen Elizabeth II's storied past and the uncertain future that followed her eventual passing. Holding this coin is like cradling a fragment of living history. It connects people to memories of childhood, to lessons in school, to the sound of coins dropping into a piggy bank. And for older generations, it recalls a period of calm before the world became engulfed in technological overdrive and political complexity. The mystique surrounding this coin has given rise to a subculture of enthusiasts, some professional, others amateur, dedicated to tracking down the rarest and most pristine specimens. Social media groups, YouTube channels, and online forums buzz with theories, sightings, and stories of unexpected discoveries. Videos of lucky individuals finding a 2005 penny in an old coin roll or an inherited collection have gone viral, attracting millions of views and sparking renewed interest in numismatics among younger audiences. And of course, where demand rises, so too does value. What once was worth a single pence now commands the attention of elite investors, museum curators, and collectors with deep pockets. The coin has transcended its original purpose. It is no longer merely a tool of commerce but a symbol of heritage, a store of value, and for a lucky few, an unexpected fortune. Among all the documented examples, one stands above the rest. Housed in a temperature-controlled case and graded a near-perfect MS69 by a top certification authority, this particular 2005 one penny has become the crown jewel of an anonymous British collector's vault. It features an ultra-rare planchet error combined with a barely visible die crack across the Queen's hairline, a combination so rare that no other known coin bears the same features. After years of speculation and private offers, this legendary specimen was finally valued in 2024 by a panel of international numismatic experts. The final appraisal stunned the community. The value of this unique 2005 Elizabeth II one penny coin was set at an astounding $15 million, yes, $15 million US dollars, for a coin that once sat idly in a till, dismissed as spare change. Today, it stands as a testament to the unpredictable beauty of numismatics. It proves that within the ordinary, the extraordinary often hides in plain sight. And it serves as a reminder to collectors everywhere: never underestimate the power of a penny. So the next time you find a one penny coin at the bottom of your drawer or between your couch cushions, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history, a fragment of royalty, mystery, and immense value. Who knows? Maybe you, too, are sitting on a fortune disguised as something all too common. And that's the magic of the 2005 Elizabeth II one penny. Here at HD Ultra Rare Coins, we believe every coin tells a story. But some stories are worth millions.